Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be doing my May wrap-up video, and I've got 8 books to show you guys, so let's just jump right in. The first one I'm going to show you, this is one that I read for my May TBR challenge. From my TBR jar, I picked out a nonfiction book. That was my challenge for May. So for that, I got the Mythical Creatures Bible by Brenda Rosen. I saw this at Barnes & Noble and it looked really cool, so I wanted to get it. There's some really awesome illustrations in this book. There's like a ton of really cool, awesome illustrations. And so this book, talks about a whole ton of different mythical creatures. Some of the more obvious ones, like vampires, werewolves, mermaids, and some more obscure ones that you probably haven't heard of. And so there's just a ton of mythical creatures in this book, and it gives like a brief overview of the different creatures. So nothing too in-depth, but it's really good if you want to learn more about mythical creatures, or if you're a writer and your stories involve some type of mythical creatures. I think this is a good resource, a good starting point. Like I said, it doesn't go in depth into all of the creatures, otherwise this would be so much bigger, it'd be huge. But it does give a brief overview, and I think it's a good starting point for that. So, yeah. The next book that I'm going to show you guys, I actually read this with Joanna from, she's a Goodreads friend of mine, and we read this as a buddy read for May. I'm forgetting what month we're in. Yeah, May. And we read The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And this is about 2 magicians. The main characters are 2 magicians, Celia and Marco, and they pretty much they grew up being taught magic and all sorts of stuff for the sole purpose of they are in a competition with each other. And so, but they don't know much about the competition till it starts, and even then they still don't know too much about the competition, like exactly what the rules are or how someone wins the competition. So they're kind of left in the dark about a lot of it. And as the reader, you're left in the dark about a lot of it as well. And you're kind of finding out things as they find out. So that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really like the writing and the descriptions. I can picture everything in here pretty clearly and perfectly. So I loved the writing and the descriptions. Couple things I had issues with was, one, I didn't really connect with any of the characters in this book, and I think the main reason for that was it switches back and forth between different points of views, and the chapters are also pretty short. So I feel like that made it harder to connect with the characters. And then the other thing was just the romance between Celia and Marco, even though it wasn't insta-love, because, you know, they got to know each other over several years and fell in love over several years. It still felt insta-lovey to me, only because we don't get to see the progression of their relationship. We're just told that, you know, they got to know each other and fell in love, but, you know, we really didn't see how their relationship progressed. We saw them before they were a couple, and then right after, you know, they're declaring their love for each other, and it's like, where did this come from? So those were pretty much the only two main issues that I had with it. Otherwise, I really enjoyed it. I loved the writing and the descriptions. So, yeah. The next book I'm going to show you guys, I actually did not enjoy so much. I wish I liked it more, but I just did not like this book. And that is Rogue Wave by Jennifer Donnelly. And this is the second book in the Deep Blue series. It's a mermaid series, and I love mermaids, but this book, if it wasn't for the cover of this book, you could almost forget that these are mermaids and they live in the ocean, because their world just resembles ours way too much. And I almost put this book down. I had to push myself to finish. I was close to the end, and I was like, it's only 90 pages. Just finish. Because I was close to putting it down. There was too many stuff from our world that I'm like, why would this be in an underwater? Like, they find a treasure. They find in this place with like a whole bunch of different treasures there. And among the treasures they find are a few cars and bicycles. I'm just like, what is a car doing in the ocean? And then in another scene, two of the characters are sitting down drinking tea. Like, you live in the ocean and you're drinking tea. That's probably some pretty salty tea. So it was just too much, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't take it. I finished it, but I do not plan on continuing that series. So, yeah. Then, the next book is one that I borrowed from a friend of mine, and I really liked it. It's a novel idea, and it's written by several different Christian authors. So some like Francine Rivers, Karen Kingsbury, Jerry B. Jenkins, Randy Alcorn, Terry Black, Robin Jones Gunn, and Angela Hunt, and some more, a few other Christian authors. And basically this just goes through pretty much how to write and have a book published. So pretty much the whole process from start to finish, brainstorming, getting ideas for a book, and character development, plot twists, all that stuff. And then towards the end talks about, once you're ready, once your manuscript's done, finding a publisher, getting your work out there, getting it published, working with a team, and all this stuff. So I really liked it. There was a lot of things in here that I thought were really good, and I was like, I want to get my own copy of this. There were some parts that I was like, man, I really want to highlight this right now, but this is not my book, so I can't highlight it. But yeah, so there's that. And then the next book that I finished is actually a sequel. The rest of these are pretty much sequels. And this one, I read the first one back in April, end of April. And I couldn't wait to get to the second one. And that is Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. It's the second book in the Red Queen series. And I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So I really liked it. There was action scenes. I will say that some of the scenes were kind of hard to picture a little bit. Just the way that it's written, some of the scenes I was like, wait, what's going on? How did that happen? So some of it is a little hard to imagine. But for the most part, I really enjoyed it. I really liked, all the characters that we're introduced to, and the character growth in our previous characters that we already know. Were really good, but one thing I will say is I didn't like I'm forgetting her name now. What's your name? I'm forgetting it now. Man. So I didn't actually like the way Mare's development was going, because I felt like she was, I wanted her to become a better version of herself. And I felt like, in a way, she was almost becoming worse. And I was just like, because, some of the things she did, some of her decisions she made, where I was just like, no, the ends do not justify the means. No, you should not be sacrificing someone just to, I didn't like how some of her character growth, the direction it was heading. But I'm hoping that changes with the next book. I'm hoping in the next book she sort of realizes that the ends do not justify the means, and, there are better choices to make to achieve your goal. So I'm hoping it'll be different in the next book. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts about this one. But I really enjoyed it. Like I said, gave it 4 out of 5 stars, or 4.5 out of 5 stars. So yeah. And then the next book that I read, another sequel, and I actually finished this series in May, and that is Miss Mayhem. It is the second book in the Rebel Belle series. This one, I believe I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I did enjoy it, not as much as Rebel Belle. Rebel Belle is still my favorite one in the entire series, but I did really enjoy this one. It has a lot of the humor and the wit that I loved about the first one, so it has that, but I don't know, the first one was just the best to me. I like the second one, and I like the whole series, but the first one I just think was the best. But I did enjoy this one. So I'm pretty much going to, my iPad's going to cut out, so I'm pretty much going to stop the video here, and I will see you guys in part 2. I have 2 more books to show you guys for my May wrap up, so I will see you guys in part 2. Bye!